tuning in today. Yep, morning for you. And then today will be a stream of the disguise fundamental training. So yeah, I have Lawrence actually in the live chat as well. So feel free to sign in and then ask questions, and Lawrence will assist me on replying. If not, if I see your questions, I will reply to you guys. Okay. So let us begin with some introductions of these guys. What is it actually, and what product range we have? Right. Okay. So products. These guys have different range of products, ranging from pro range all the way to the designer range, which is just a laptop license. We'll show you this later on. Okay. So let's talk about workflow in disguise. So disguise is an integrated show creation platform that supports your team throughout all stages of production, from initial concept all the way through the show time. Okay, so there are 6 steps. First step, concept development. So everybody, you can start doing a storyboard and test your contents. Okay, using the 3D visualizer in the software, where where you can actually plan out your 3D models to check whether is it working or not, and then do some basic content test. Yeah. Okay, so 3D modeling. Okay, these guys only support OBJ files, but no doubt you can use all of this software that's online available, like AutoCAD, 3ds Max. Blender is free, so everyone can use it. SketchUp, C4D, and Maya. So all these are industry standards software to create 3D models. Okay, so once you have the model, we can, and then with the storyboard going on, you can put in them into this guys to do a content validation. What does content validation means? It means that you can actually check your content resolution, go through the correct codecs, make sure everything is stable and is soft. Yeah, let me just push it up a bit. Is it better now? Yeah, can you guys hear me? Yeah. So like what I say, content validation, your resolution, your codec, uh, and then your frame rate, your camera angles, and timing. So all these can be done inside this guys to check. Okay, so in this guys you can actually plot our projectors. You can see all these square boxes are the projectors that we can actually put it into this guys, the GUI. So we can actually set the throw ratios and then move it to the rough position, or if you know where it's supposed to be, you can put them there, and then from there onwards you can actually check the coverage. Okay, and as well as you can put your stage or maybe trusses to make it more realistic for your clients to see or you guys to see, right? Not only that, content guys will be, while you guys are setting up the stage, the content guys could start to build contents and then pass you maybe a proxy files, so you guys can actually start to sequence your show even before the site, okay, on your laptop offline, right? So this is the disguise timeline. Later when we move into software, you can get a better view of what it is inside. Okay, so next, the fourth one is loading. So once you have pre-programmed your stuff in your laptop, so what you need to do is just copy the whole project file from your laptop to this guy's machine, and from there you set up your output feeds, and then make sure connections are good, and you can start the show rehearsal. So show rehearsal is more fine-tuning your time code, any external controls or internal controls that's sending out, Okay, MIDI in, MIDI out, LTC, all this stuff. So you can do on the show rehearsal. Last but not least, once everything is done, it's showtime. Okay, so this is the sixth step of this guy's workflow. Right, there are actually a lot of more features in this guy's. There's too much to be covered. Okay, so if you want to know more, go ahead and visit this guys.one. They have more features over there to show. Okay, so next step, I'm going to show you guys a showcase. Okay, concert touring. Okay, U2, last year before this virus thing, they were here. Okay, in Singapore Stadium with a 4K canvas uh, uh, for their LED screen, and then with 4K capture in. Right, live events. Okay, this was actually my second show. It's Kingdom Invasion. Right, so this yeah, just basically this guy is running on the large canvas LED screen as well. I'm gonna skip this. Okay, so last year's countdown at Marina Bay. So the whole Marina Bay was actually using this guys for this countdown. So starting from ASM and Fullerton, it was by Hexagon. So I was there supporting them, and on the floating platform, it was by Show Company. Okay, so you can have a look at Fullerton Hotel. We are running two machines here with 16 outputs. Okay, of course, they double stack the projectors for higher brightness. Okay, the Art Science Museum. Okay, so for Art Science Museum, we actually use OmniCal for that. Then it took me about 20 to 30 minutes to get 8 projectors up and calibrated. Okay, TV broadcast. Okay, so TV broadcast. This was a Pakistan sports league. Okay, it's a Pakistan Super League lah. Okay, this is actually AR stuff by Build Studios. So you guys can check this out online. It's actually quite interesting. This has a lot of AR captures, and it's a full stadium size AR capture and live broadcasted nationwide. Okay, so these guys also work with Notch and Black Tracks. Unfortunately, I won't play the video here because it's a bit laggy. Okay, so you guys can actually go and Google Coldplay unreleased video. Sky is full of stars. So you can actually see how the whole content actually works. Okay, theater. Okay, so theater. This is the House of Dancing Water by David Eversfield. Okay, and there's most of the theaters are from China, but then supported by these guys users around the world. Fixed installation. Okay, this is LED pixel mapping. Okay, so this LED pixel mapping was done by Flex and me together. This was like 3 years ago. SK2 pop up outside Mandarin Gallery Orchard. Yeah, so using these guys, we power 152 strips of LED pixels with every individual single pixel control. Okay. Oh yeah, this is a short clip of how it actually looked like in real life. Playing. Bah, then we'll just skip. Highlight Festival, Malayan as well. This was done with Trio AV, but yeah, I'm gonna skip the video because it's too laggy. Right, Ion Sky Orchard. This is a fixed installation 2 years ago as well. Right now, I think it's still running. Okay, so it consists of a 20 projector blend. It's at a panoramic view upstairs. Ion Orchard. Okay. Right, so you can see this guys is all over the place. Okay, with just one product, and then they are in different sector of the market. Okay, so most of the things showcase I've shown you guys is done locally. Okay, yeah, there are of course many other projects you can find online through their website. So yeah, go ahead and go to the website and check it out. I'll show you guys later on. Yeah, let's talk about a product range. We have a GX range. Uh, this GX range is actually built for notch playbacks. Okay, like for IMAX and real-time content. Okay, and then now this guy is actually doing a XR, which is called extended reality, which they have a machine just to support that, because the real-time rendering is actually very heavy if you're gonna use on the other machines, right? So start out with GX1. This is the entry level for GX. Okay, so this is a small 2U chassis. You can have a look at the back. So all of the GX and Pro range, they consist of this VFC card. Okay, 2 times 1 gig network port, and then 10 gig network port. Okay, you have your capture, so 3 HD SDI or 2 3G SDI. This is automatic switching, so as long as you have 2 3G SDI source in, the last one will be omitted. Okay, then gen lock and a dedicated GUI output. Okay, for all of the machines. So this guys is not like other softwares that you require additional production PC to work. Instead we can work directly on the unit itself and managing all of the other servers that are online. Okay, so for GX1 there's only LTC in. There's no audio card because of the small footprint, but not to worry, you can actually use an external audio device via USB, or you can use Dante network as well. Okay, right, so VFC card. So GX1 is 4K, so we can actually interchange the cards over here, and these are the available cards at the moment: DP, quad DVI, or quad SDI. Okay, right, GX2, the bigger brother. Okay, this is the back view. It's a 4U chassis with two 4K outputs, and like what you see here, you can interchange the VFC card. Okay, quad SDI, quad DVI, DP, or HDMI 2.0. You can actually mix and match them in one unit. Okay, same goes for this. You have two 1 gig, two 10 gig, and then you have 4 HD SDI capture, and also the same thing is 4 SD HDI or 2 3G SDI. Okay, then this big brother has capture audio card in. Okay, so it's a MIDI in out, audio in left right, audio left right. You can do optical as well. Okay, so your SPDIF ADAT is possible. Same thing, always have a gen lock in as well as a GUI. Okay, so we do not need another production PC to work on the disguise. Okay, so 2 times 4K with two you mix and match any two VFC card, depends on your venue or your show. Okay, so GX2c, this is the new machine that released later earlier this year, I could say, or maybe last year December, right? So this GX2c consists of a new capture card Okay, so the future, what this guy is thinking is, we want to push whatever, we want to take in whatever we push out. So we can capture up to 2 4K source or 8 3G SDI. Okay, so all these are 3G SDI instead of the older cards, which will actually change to HD SDI before and become 3G SDI when there's only 2. Okay, this is all fully 8 3G SDI captured at 60 FPS. Okay, so as you can see here, that inputs are also 10-bit capable. So, and as well as this GX2c is 10-bit capable output as well. Okay, so same thing, it still has a 2 4K. Okay, so HDMI 2.0, DVI, or you can mix and match. Take note, only HDMI 2.0 can output 10-bit content if you really need it. Okay, so it comes with latest, not the latest, but the second tier NVIDIA GPU RTX 6000. Okay, so this machine is actually built for notch, really heavy notch, which is for extended reality, which is XR. Okay, so you can see on the notch marks, this GX2c is actually at the top, but right now there are actually more machines out there with RTX 8000 card, which is higher, but nevertheless, during that time GX2c was the highest in the notch mark. Okay. Okay, so design aesthetic, nothing is changed, only the input card, and yeah, so only the input card is the major change, otherwise the rest, VFC card still remains, and then all your ports are still the same as the GX2. Right, okay, so this is connectivity. I'm just gonna skip this anyway, it's almost the same as the GX2. Right, so over here there's a comparison between GX2 and GX2c. So you can see I mean the CPU is the same, but the GPU is different, so your capture as well, 3G SDI, your RAM, and instead of SSD, is running on 4TB NVMe. Okay, so using NVMe, your read and write speed is much faster than 2TB SSD. Okay, so this we have a chart to show you guys the performance difference between NVMe and SSD later on. Right. So Pro range. Okay, so Pro range is actually the flagship of these guys. That's why it named they actually started off with this. So power to scale. Okay. Right, so this was a 5-year-old model, but right now it's still standing strong. Okay, 4x4 Pro. So how does the name derive? So it's 4 times 4K. Okay, so this machine is capable of outputting 4K 60 in one single chassis. Alright, so so 32 gig, 32 content layers. I mean, there's 10 gig transfer as well. Okay, so at the back, the chassis is actually the same as GX2. Okay, the only difference is the cards. Okay, there's 4 cards here, which you can mix and match. Okay, not only that, let's say one machine is 16, you can actually stack them to have more outputs on the show. Okay, so next is a 2x4, the younger brother. Okay, so 2 times 4K, exactly the same chassis as a GX2. Okay, the only difference is the graphics card, of course the price as well. Yeah, so this is really for if you want just outputs and then not really using notch, this will be a more suitable machine compared to GX2. Okay. So VX4. So VX4 is also a new machine, a new flagship, so it's built to last at for the next 5 years down the road. Okay. Imagine the 4x4 was 5 years old, so this is the next machine they came out to last and to make sure it lasts for another 5 years. Okay, so this their philosophy, I want to capture as much as I push out. So they fitted 16 3G SDI into this one single machine. Okay, and then if you see the divider, it's actually one quadrant of 4K. So I can take in 4K or 16 HD, push out 4K or 16 HD. Okay, so all of it is running at 60 FPS, right? And all are 10-bit capable as well. So for 10-bit machines, it's only the GX2c and VX4. The rest, unfortunately, is not supported because of the graphics card that is inside. Right. So more in, more out. I mean, there's no more out, but more is 10-bit output. Okay. So you can play back up to 4 times uncompressed 4K 60, lossless 10-bit, and then it comes in RAID 10 array. This is actually the same as the GX2c. Right. So more networking. Okay. So other machine, you see 1 gig, 10 gig. Okay, this is different. We have 1 gig. There's one management port. This management port, I'll explain it to you guys later on. There's another slide for this. Okay, there's 10 gig ports. Okay, as well as a 25 gig SFP cage port. Okay, so you can actually put any SFP cage inside for fiber connection. Okay, so this management port is actually going to access into the onboard system management controller, which there's actually a Raspberry Pi living inside the server itself. Okay. So that, yeah, I will talk to a bit more later on with the slide. Okay. So you can see this is a brand new design of the chassis, right? So still remain the 4 slots. Okay, all your network output and your 8 3G SDI input and your capture card. Nevertheless, there's always a genlock and a GUI. Okay, of course there's some lights at the top here, so you can actually work in the dark. Okay, so more storage. So this guy is slowly transiting to NVMe, okay, because the speed and you can take more things as well, right? So you can actually look at operation performance. This is a VX4 versus a 4x4 Pro. Okay, so it's using uncompressed 4K 8-bit. So you can see on the 4x4 Pro, if you play back 4K 60, you are not even reaching 2 clip. Okay, we are talking about uncompressed clip. Okay, whereas on a VX4, you can play 4K 60 uncompressed with a bit more headroom to spare. Okay, so with this extra headroom, you can actually shows that the machine is actually more stable. Okay, so when touch wood, if anything happen, if it degrades one of the NVMe fail, it's still able to sustain 3 and almost 4 clips of 4K playing out. So which this will actually put you through the show safely, right? Okay, so all these are not like they go and purposely upgrade or modify the unit to make it say, oh, this is actually better and stuff. No, all these are based on the default shipping configuration. Okay, so system managed controller. So you can see the management port. This is where you can actually go in to monitor the system and then change the IP address, control OLED, dim, shutdown, reboot, and then fan speed and temperature monitoring. This is still work in progress. Yeah, but in the future it will be available. Right, so comparison as well. You can see how much the difference it has become from a 4x4 Pro to a VX4. Okay, so processor change, the AMD card change as well. Then playback lossless, Okay, so all these are real stats from the machine itself. I'm not gonna add any other things to it. Okay. Right. And with the VFC cards, right, four types of VFC card. Okay. So the DP, quad DVI, quad SDI, and HDMI 2.0. Okay, so you can actually use the cards for all of the machine in this guys. Right. Okay, solo. So this is the entry level machine which is called solo. Okay, so it's very good for small scale shows, or you want to control LED pixels. This is actually the perfect machine, and it's relatively cheaper than the rest. Okay, so it actually consists of two 4K output, which you can actually use a use a FX4 to split into 4 HD outputs, and then you have 8 HD outputs. Okay, this has a dedicated GUI, then your audio in out using breakout cables. Okay, then capture card, which you can choose, is either 2 HDMI or 3 HD SDI, which they will actually change between 3G SDI and HD SDI. Okay, then these are all 1 gig network ports. Okay, unfortunately, this guy doesn't have a Genlock card inside because it's meant to be a solo machine, like the name. But this could be actually used as a production PC if it's needed. But anyway, nowadays people don't actually use this method on these guys. Yeah, so everyone can just work off the master machine, be it a VX4, 4x4, 2x4, either one of them. Okay. Okay. Lastly, designer. So designer is just a dongle. Okay, I believe some of you guys have it. Some doesn't. So those doesn't have it, you guys can go and purchase online. Right now they're actually having a 50% sales because of this COVID-19 virus. They are trying to support all new users if they want to get. So right. So using this license, this is a floating license. So any Windows PC with this license and this guy's software, you can actually run it anywhere you want. Okay. So that's the end of my introduction to these guys. Okay. Any question, just leave it on the live chat. Lawrence will reply you. Otherwise, I will reply to you if I actually see them. Okay. Right. Okay. Last one more thing is OmniCal. So this is the OmniCal kit that I use on the Art Science Museum in Singapore. Okay, so this is actually a small industrial camera with a different lens option like 6mm, 8mm, and 12mm. Okay, yep. So that's the end of my presentation of the introduction of these guys. Right. Okay, hope you guys didn't fall asleep. Yeah, after listening to me talking. Right. So next, I'm gonna show you guys this guy's website. So this guy's one. Right. So over here you can actually find the products. Okay. Designer, your GX range. All of the products will be listed over here, so you can actually go and have a look. Okay. And of course, showcases. This guy showreel, different esports, concert touring. All of them are all listed here. Right. Okay. So learn and support. You can actually find certified trainer. Okay. So just to let you guys know, I'm actually a certified trainer as well. So yeah. Then of course there's the store. Okay. store, you can buy the software. Okay, so you can see the USB keys over here. Okay, and right now they're actually giving up designer license till end of September. Okay, if you have the license, you can just activate this. Okay, otherwise you need to purchase the USB key, and then and then you can put the license in. Okay, otherwise it's a yeah, annual monthly renewal for the software. Yep. So you can say it's pretty cheap. It's like 125 USD per month. So probably you do one show, it's enough to cover it, right? Okay. So yep, just let's okay. So on the disguise menu, you can actually jump to help.disguise.1. Okay, so this is like the disguise encyclopedia where you want to find any thing that I'm gonna cover today. You can just basically search on a keyword. Okay, so it's basically like Google. So let's say I want to search supported file format. Okay, so you can see the keyword will be searched, and then you can see all the things over here, right? So once I click in, and all the details will be in this page. Okay, so to go through, this guy is taking video files. Okay, QuickTime MOV format only with all these codec like DXV. Okay, take note, DXV, you can only use the DXV1, not DXV3. Okay, because it's not supported. Okay, QuickTime HEP alpha, HEP-Q, right? And then QuickTime animation. Last but not least, the new addition is actually Notch LC. Okay, this is Notch LC is actually comparable to animation. Okay, but at a lower cost of your GPU, right? Okay, so in the event that you guys don't have HEP or HEP-Q codec in your machine, you can head on to the download center where you can find all the plugins here. Okay, so this MPEG Stream Kit is actually very good for converting videos to DXV or HEP. Okay, because I know you guys know content guys usually comes with MP4 or some other funky formats that even though you tell them a lot of time. So use MPEG Stream Clip to convert it. It's very quick and easy to use and very simple. Okay, and of course with Adobe dropping the HEP support, you can get people to download over here. This is actually written by these guys, so they can actually put into Adobe's suite for HEP plugins. Okay, right. Don't worry if I'm going too fast. Anyway, all this will be recorded. Will be distributed to you guys after these 2 days. So you can actually look back on all these videos and stuff I've gone through. Okay, right. So maximum resolution of videos, files, and still image. So these guys support video files and still image up to 16K in one direction. Okay. So you can see if all heads are genlocked to the same resolution, a 4x4 server can play up to 32 HD simultaneously. Okay. Right. So audio files, because right now we are on R17. Okay, so it will be after 15.2. So audio files can be used in the audio layer, so it's a separate layer. Okay, so these are all the formats we support. WAV files, any sample rate, AIFF, any sample rate as well. MP3 also same, but MP3 is up to 48 kilohertz. That's it. All right. Still images. We have PNG, JPEG, bitmap, TIFF. So it's actually in the order of preference. So PNG is always the best. JPEG. Okay. Just one tip Still images, we try not to go more than 4000 by 4000 resolution, because it's actually being rendered on the CPU. Yeah, so if you are gonna go more than 4000 by 4000, it's actually stressing out the CPU. So what I recommend is, you can get the content guys to like just export a one frame .mov in HEP. Okay, so HEP codec actually works uh, a lot on GPU, so you actually can handle that kind of stress, which is actually much better for your overall performance as well. Okay, so this is one thing, one tip that you can actually use. Right, so image sequence, TGA, TIFF, and DPX. Okay, 8-bit and 10-bit. Right, so for 3D meshes, only OBJ file. Okay, so OBJ files, okay, used as a mesh for video screen, needs to be UV map. Okay, and for props, you can do UV map or not, that's up to you, depending on how beautiful you want to make your scene to be. Okay, uh yeah. So I think tomorrow I'll talk a bit on the 3D UV mapping on Blender if you have time, right? So yeah, 3D meshes only .obj files. Many people will give you 3ds FBX. Okay, you can either convert yourself to .obj or can get them to give you an obj file. Okay, this shouldn't be a problem, right? uh there's this Alembic file. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I'm not too sure how to use it as well. Okay, this is actually a new feature. Right. Okay, so this is the help website. Okay, to download the software, you can go download.disguise.1. Alright, so here these guys will actually post their new software. You can see when it's released. So these guys will try to release a full version every year. Okay, so which includes a lot of new features, but in between the whole year they actually release 2-point releases to add in features for that moment. Okay, so you can actually see see a show reel of what is being added. Okay, then just to get it, scroll down. Right, and if you are bored, you can read the release notes. Okay, so they'll tell you what the new stuff. Right, so resources over here, you can see all the 3D modeling plugins or modeling software. Okay, so all these touch OSC, layout editor, right? Maybe a DMX workshop, you can test your DMX and stuff. Okay, all can be found over here. So just now we were talking about codecs, it's all inside here. File transfer, okay, because this guys doesn't have a file management system inside their software yet as of now. Okay, no doubt we can use a third-party software. Okay, there's Rich Copy, Terra Copy. I myself, I prefer using a free file sync. Okay, free file sync is free, so you actually install in one your master server and then target it to push to all of other servers in the network. Okay, it's pretty straightforward to use on this. Right, then okay, this is actually all. We don't need a data path. Audio tools, RME, OmniCal if you need. Okay, you can also download. Okay, the full user guide is not here, but no doubt you can go to the website. It's much faster than scrolling through PDF, because PDF you can't find what you want. Okay, so there are actually some guides over here. You can actually download and take a look. Okay, and lastly, you can download all the projects, media pack, and then all those demo files. Okay, I think I shared with you guys the media pack and some training projects over the link. So okay, so these are the few websites you can actually go and find stuff. So at the top here you can see all the drop downs. Okay. So basically whatever you find here is actually available on the search, right? So yep, let's get started with the designer software. Okay, so hopefully you guys have installed the designer. Okay, so it should be R 17.1.1, which is included in the link I've given you guys. Okay, and you should have all this inside as well. So you should have a media and then your training 1 2 3 4 exercise, all of this. Okay, so uh yeah, so first things first, let's go into advanced machine setting. I need you guys to enter this. It's fit window. It's actually very good for designer machines because you tend to alternate tab uh, many times. Okay, so once you type in is window, just basically double click and then you can type in is window. Okay, so once it's in, check it. So what happens is these guys will actually run in window mode, so you can actually alternate tab to manage your files easier. Okay, right. So okay, so let's run through this guy's software. I hope you guys have activated the free until September license. Okay, and those who don't have any code meter dongle, you can. I hope you guys gotten the trial version as well, because all these can be used. Okay? The difference between trial version and the designer license is you can't save. That's it. But you are still able to test out stuff, build out the stage, everything. Just that you can't save, right? Okay. So there's two tabs. Over here is your project tab where your project files will be inside. Okay. So over here is a drop down. You can have multiple folders to target for your projects. Okay. So simply if you want to add, you can just select add D3 folder and then just choose the folders that that consist of all these your show files. Okay. Right. So from the top, you can once you're in the folder, you can just go new project. Maybe I'll set training day 1. Right. So this training day 1 will appear over here. Right. So which means every folder is actually one project file. So it's different. Okay. So open project folder. Okay. So this will actually open up the root folder here. But I usually don't do this. Okay. What I'm gonna do now is you can see here over here I have all my media files inside. Okay, I have all my videos here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw it inside this training day 1 root. Okay. To open out the root folder, simply click on it, go to the bottom, open project folder. Okay. Okay, so I put out on-screen display so you guys can see what I'm pressing. Okay. So right, so right now it's actually very empty. We only need to take note of objects folder because this is where your assets will be living in. Right. So you can see there's audio file, where you can actually put in your audio files inside, .wave, but you just .wave, AIFF, MP3, all will be living inside here. Right. The DX texture, this is all your image file. Okay. But the image file can be actually used in video folder as well. So you can have them in both ways. So it depends on which one you guys prefer. Okay, we take in LUT file. Okay, so for color, some color correction or stuff, you can use on the. All these are created by Lightroom, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so you use this to boost your content color, reduce the exposure and stuff. Okay. Next mesh. This is where you have your 3D model, be it UV mapped or not UV mapped. Okay, and then of course you can actually put in more you can put in a subfolder, so you can have subfolder. That's not an issue, you'll be read inside this guy's software. A notch file, these guys have a notch file inside. Okay, so notch file is another software. If you have time, I'm gonna explain to you guys. Otherwise, I can share you guys some link, and then you can have a look on how it's integrated. Okay, the recording file I'm gonna skip. So video file, this is where all your video.mov will be situated. Alright, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pull all this video into the video file. Right, oops, should just Control C. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy all this. You guys should have a media file. You can actually follow me and then just copy and paste. Just replace. Right, so go back. Yeah, mesh. Okay, I can actually copy my mesh as well. Okay, so if I have the same name, I'm just gonna skip. Okay. So simple as that. Okay, so I can create a maybe a new folder. Let's say props. Props I can put arena in, backdrop, player, drum riser, boom, maybe stage 4, truss object. Okay. So I can actually make another one for people. So drummer, guitarist, woman, or this man, I can just put as people. So the rest I can throw inside here as well. Right. So, then I have audio files. Yeah, just let's say that. If you have any test audio, you can just use it as well. Okay. So, yeah, so now we have actually put in the assets inside the root folder of our show file. Okay. So this root folder is actually targeting to training day 1 only. It's not going to touch any of the other project files. Okay. Right. So let me show you guys what we are going to do today. Do not need to launch anything, just take a look at my screen and I'll show you. Right, so lunch break at 1 p.m. Okay. Right, so we're gonna have lunch break at 1 p.m. because right now it's actually 11:20. Right, so after this, when we take maybe a 5 minutes break, just a quick toilet break, and then we come back and continue. Right. Okay, so this is actually this guy's GUI. So what we're gonna do is today gonna show you how to place our layers to different screens. Okay, keyframing. Okay, showing you guys how to make a cue list. Okay, playing with blend modes. Right, different type of mapping. Direct, feed. Okay, can create some effect. Okay, to parallel. Okay, these are the main three mappings that we'll always use. Alright, then last but not least, camera fly through. Okay. So this camera fly through, we can actually export out and then share it around to clients or customers who want to see them. It's good for content guys as well because everything on the screen will be rendered. Okay, so everything on the screen will be rendered, and then you can actually look. And there's a clock at the top as well. Okay, so this clock for you guys to take a look at what time. That's it. Okay, so let me click this. Alright, so back to this screen. Okay, yeah, so just now we go through file. Okay, edit, yeah, advanced setting. Okay, so next help. So if you actually look at help, this D3 manager help, once you click it, it actually brings you to the help.disguise, which is the online user manual. Okay, so which I showed you guys just now. Right, so open project assistant mode. So only use this mode. So just now when you guys actually put this is window mode on, it's actually running on window mode instead of full screen. So over here they also say note for designer machine. This is actually the same as open in project assistant mode. Okay, this actually allows uh people like me or these guys, when you need support to your software, you can use this and we can team viewer in to control and check stuff. Right, so project diagnostic, this once you run it, you actually create a console log in the event that your project crashes or overload over a certain time. So use this to send it to us, then we can actually have a look on what the project file is actually going on. Right, so this system diagnostic is another one. So system and project is different. Project is only targeting that project itself, whereas system, it's how do I put it? It's more of like the whole hardware itself. In the event that your hardware server crash, once you'll be able to boot up this and run this system diagnostic, and we can actually check the errors, what is happening inside. Okay, okay, so you can ignore. So over here you can check your licenses, D3 license. Okay, you can check your expiry date, what type of license is on your machine or your laptop. If you are using designer, it's a designer. Otherwise on a full machine you can actually see a perpetual, or if not it's like the machine's ID. Yeah, okay, then there's not licenses. About D3 manager, this is actually crucial. You can check your version, revision, everything. Okay, so image version is actually for the for the machines itself, because different machines have different image version. Okay, so that one just gauge for you to see. Right. Next, network. Okay, so network, as long as you are connected to the network with this guy's machine, so you can actually see your machine type, a designer, or the other machine that will be listed, like GX4, VX4, GX2, GX2c, all those will be listed over here. And from here you can actually update the D3 versions, right? And then yeah, make sure they are on the same version before you start off the show. Okay. So over here you can actually set your network adapter. Okay. So during a network session, make sure you always set to the D3 net port. Okay, you'll be labeled here. Okay, for now it doesn't because I'm using a designer license. Okay, right. So all these projects I've given you guys, you guys can go back, always go back to take a look what's going on, and then like refresh your memory after this 2 days course. Okay, right. So let's begin. Right. So a brand new start of this guys. Okay, you always get a projector and a surface and this fella called Puck. Okay, so left click is to select things. Okay, left click and hold on the thing, on the 3D object is to rotate around it. Okay, so if you click on the empty space, you can't rotate because it's not targeting, or there's no axis for it to rotate. So click on the floor, click on the screen, you can be able to rotate there. Okay, then middle mouse button, scroll to zoom in and zoom out. Okay, middle mouse button to pan. Okay, or you can use right click to zoom in and zoom out. Alright, so in the event that you spin until like you're not sure where you, okay, simply press F12. You reset the camera view. Right. Okay, so let's look at the top part first. So do a right click on D3. Over here you can see about D3. So about D3 is just now what I showed you guys, your license, how many days remaining, your version. So you can actually look at notch license. Okay. So you can see there's all these extra notch license I have inside. Okay, so these are just extra information you can find inside the software rather than going out to the D3 manager to get them. Okay, so right click open again. So first thing first, the most important thing is head to project settings. Okay, so over here same thing, you can create a new project, but I'll usually do it outside because if I do it here I need to quit and then start the software again. So I try to not do it here. So archive is basically just archiving. Okay, if not by itself, you actually auto save every 5 minutes. Okay, so if you see in the project folder here inside history, this is where these guys will actually start to archive your show file. Okay, so right now the frequency is set to every 5 minutes. You can change up to you. Alright, then around here tooltip, so which means you hold and then you can see the tooltip on the right side itself. Okay, so movie output will explain later. So most important thing is always come down to here, the timeline control. Okay, so make sure the refresh rate tallies with your content. So in the event that your content is 25 frames, you can put it at 50, so no issue. But not like if your content is 25, you're gonna put it at 60. That will actually cause the time difference on your playback. Okay. Yeah. So why I say this is important, because if you actually look at the timeline over here, so you see this timeline right now is TC30. If I change it to 50, you can see the time code change to 25, right? Which means right now if I were to zoom in with this magnifying glass, if I go all the way to 24, you can see the next one is 1 second. So all the way at the bottom here, you can see it's 25 frames, but if I change back to 60, it becomes 30. Okay. So make sure all your contents are at the same rate during your show. Okay, this is why this guy is able to validate step 2, content validation. That's why you put inside here and then you check your content playback rate. Okay, so bottom here is a timeline where you have all your controls over the playback, right? So, yeah, so make sure this is selected correctly. Okay, the rest you can just leave it. Yeah, we'll come back to all this later on. Right, so simply for these guys, right click is always to open up the properties, left click then is to select. If you don't know, just left click, right click, left click, right click until you see something pop up. Okay, so first things first, let's put some content into the screen first. Okay. So on your timeline, I always like to begin on the very first starting, which is 000. Okay, so there's two ways to create a content. You can right click a new layer, let's say my video layer, video 1. Okay, and there are all types of layer over here that does different things. Alright, so we can do is first thing we select video. Okay, so we'll be using video layer a lot. Okay, be it image or video content, everything is through here. Okay, so next what we're gonna do is head to media, under video, uh, can choose any image. Let's say I choose Ada. Immediately should be populated here. Okay, so this Ada will be here, and then you can see just now was inactive. If I have no content, it'll be blank, or maybe when you just created, it'll be inactive. So this is just an indication to show you that this layer is on, but there's nothing going out. Okay, so on your video, just select any. Okay, yep. So there you go. There is your content on the screen itself. Okay, so yeah. So on your timeline, you can actually move them left and right. Okay, oops, something wrong. Okay, so on your timeline at the bottom, you can move them left and right. Okay, so by default it's always maybe a minute long, so you can actually stretch it down. Okay, let's do 15 seconds. Right, so that's another way to create a layer as well. But before that, let me show you how to delete. So you can actually do a right click on the layer. So there are a lot of options over here. You can rename them. Okay, so let's see here, right, or you can delete them. So just do a right click, you can delete. Okay, you can use Ctrl Z to bring them back. I'm not too sure, I can't remember how many steps you can actually bring back, but yeah, just try. Okay. Otherwise, another way to delete is just select, press your delete button, you'll delete away. Right. So create a new layer. Okay, instead of using right click, okay, we can use shortcut, which is Ctrl L. Right. So Ctrl L, same thing. This layer will pop up. So instead of giving your layer a name first, we are selecting the layer. Okay, so I can actually rename it afterwards. So it depends on how you guys prefer. Okay, my method is I always create a layer first and then I rename it. Okay, so same thing, select video. If you guys really cannot find it, you can always search for it. So video, just type in. Okay, and select video. So you'll see it's inactive because nothing is going into this layer. Okay, what you can do is under video, same thing, bring your content. Okay, so you can bring it down, do a right click, change my name, George, my favorite. Right, so there you go, you have your content in. So be it image, or you want to put a video in, it's the same. Okay, so once this is done, you can actually press play. F12 to reset camera. So by doing this, the content will be playing back. So you can see on your timeline is flashing and play. So as long as your player is reading a layer, the content then will go out. Otherwise, right now you can see on your playhead that's empty, which means there's zero content. Okay, so to stop the playback, just press stop. Okay, then you can drag and jump back to the beginning. Right. So let me put George back. Okay, so next step, we're gonna add in screens. Okay, you guys might be wondering what is this fella doing here? What does this do actually? Okay, so right now we're gonna touch on this. Okay, so open up stage. Okay, so this scene you can actually set your floor size. So right now floor is 25 meters by 25 meters. So take note, every parameters in this guys is always in meters, like what the tooltip shows. Okay, so you put 20 meters by 20, it's 20 meters, 20 meters. Alright, so let's head down. Okay, let's make LED screen. Alright, so select, then I'm gonna create my LED screen. Okay, so I'm gonna name it LED left. Right, so this property will actually pop up. This property will actually pop up. You can actually see for projector screens or props, everything that needs to be moved, we'll be using this. Okay, so let me close this. So so one way then to open up the properties of the screen, so basically you can just right click. Okay, there it comes up. You can see the offset, rotation, and then the scale. Okay, so this screen is actually 1 meter by 1 meter as per the scale. Okay, if you are importing a 3D model, okay, make sure your scale is correct. We try not to scale too much of the imported objects. Okay, we always remain it as 111. All right. So two ways to move the screen. You can use the values here and then scroll, or you can left click on it. You can see this gizmo XYZ. So you can actually pull them and then you move. Okay. Right. So gizmo is activated by this thing. Okay. You can use this, or you can use, so this is to rotate. Okay. So you can see this gizmo. So rotation, I can see the stuff is being updated over here, the values, right? Then we can scale it as well. X, Y. Okay. No doubt this is not a definite scaling. Okay, but you can always change back the values over here. Okay. Lastly, this is a global coordinate or local coordinate. So this is actually affecting the XYZ of this. So right now if you use global, you actually move like this kind of weird way lah. But if you change it to local, you always be the center of origin of this fella. So when you move, XYZ is there. Okay. Right, so I want to set my scale to I just want to remove the rotation. Okay. My scale, I'm gonna do a 4:3 screen. Right. Then to a -7 meters. Okay. You can use the gizmo to move around, so no issue. But I prefer to make it more precise, so I'll always do a fixed number. Okay. Then your Z 0. Right. So I have my LED left. Okay. Excuse me. So LED left. My scale is 4:3. However, my resolution is still the same. So for my LED screen, I need to set the correct resolution as to my physical hardware setup. Okay, so what I can do is, so for example, 1 meters is 128 pixels for 1 meter square of LED panel. So right now I have 4 meters. What I can do is multiply by 4. Okay, so you can actually do math calculation, simple math calculation inside any of these parameter box. Okay, so same thing for 3 meters. So 256. Okay, I'm using 128. So multiply by 3. So I have 512 by 384. So this is the aspect ratio of a 4 by 3 screen. Okay, right. Next, mesh. Of course, I have different mesh. You can import external mesh if you want. Otherwise, LED screen usually is flat. So we'll just stick with the default rectangle mesh. Okay, this one you don't need to change. Default is always a rectangle mesh. Right. Next, appearance. So for LED screen, I always like to put pixel mask. So I can simulate the pixel pitch of the LED. Right. So just left click on mask. Over here you can see these are all the default masks for LED pixel. You can actually add in your own one as well if you want, but for training we just use the default one. So simple mask, okay, selected, but nothing yet. So what's happening on the screen, right? So to show you guys the pixel perfect, I can actually zoom in. So you start to see pixels of the LED screens. Okay, you guys must be thinking, oh yeah, this is not true. Okay, so based on my resolution, if I change to 4, to 4, you can see this is the exact pixel count that this visualizer is going to show you. Right, so it's not gonna reduce or your pixel count just because of rendering or to optimize the performance. No, it'll give you the exact pixel count whatever you key into the resolution. So let's go to file 2 by 384. Okay. Then because from here you can change whether your content is front only, back, or both sides. Okay, right now there's no content. Okay, I'm just gonna put one more content in. So I'm gonna create new content. Header. Right. So you can see ADA here, and then at the back there's content as well. I try to only show one side because if you show two sides, means this is also rendering in your GPU. I mean in your machine, which will actually take up performance. Okay, so on the content, I'll choose front only. So this is always the front. Okay, so same thing. I like to rename my content. Right, then I'm going to scale down. Okay, so right now I have two contents on my screen. Okay, next step. A show you wouldn't have just one left screen. You look very odd. Okay, so we're gonna make another screen. Okay. Two ways to make. You can actually right click, go back, repeat the same step as well. So create an LED screen, then give it a name, and then do the same setting. Okay. However, if your left and right screen usually should be the same, we can do duplicate. Okay, so right click, you can over here you can see duplicate. So I'm going to change to right. Okay, hit enter, and then you'll be duplicated on top of this. Okay, so to move from left to right, basically changing from negative to positive. Done. So my left and right screen has the same properties. Okay, so pixel mask, everything is the same. Right. So next, yeah. So you guys might be thinking, okay, why only one is here? Okay, if one, I can actually put another layer into here. Okay, So I can do a right click. Same thing, I can duplicate my layer as well. Okay. But this is not the right way to do on this, guys. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to delete this. Let's check out the mapping. So on the mapping, over here you can see right now it's targeted to left direct. Okay, so let me change the surface one. Sorry. So let me pull it out. Close this. Surface one, LD right. Okay. So however, anyhow I change it's only targeting to one screen. Okay. Which is not what exactly I want. I want this content ADA to be on two screens. Right? So what I can do is I'll create a new mapping. So I'll name it direct mapping left plus oops, L plus right. So I'm going to select direct mapping. There are a few mappings over here. We are going to just talk about direct and feed and parallel. That's about it. Okay. So direct. So this new window will actually pop up. You leave the resolution first. I'm going to select my screen. So I'm going to select LD left and LD right. Okay. So this resolution you can leave it, or otherwise you can actually check the resolution of your media by right clicking it, but we'll just leave it as the screen resolution. Okay, because this two screens resolution is 512 by 384, so we're gonna keep it at 512 by 384, right? Okay, so there you go. You have George together with I think Mistress Ada inside. Okay, right. So yeah, any question till now? Same thing. Any questions? Leave it on live chat, and we'll get back to you. Okay. So next step, we're gonna name our timeline. Otherwise, we are not sure what's going on once we are at the back. Or yeah. So for easy reference, we'll just make a note first over here. So right click under here, note. So I can put direct. Caps. Right. So direct. So this is the name for your this segment. Okay. Next I'm going to do a cut. Okay. So I want to make my playheads at least I break up in sections, so easier for me to manage my content. Okay. So two ways to split a section. Right click, then you can see split section. Okay. So by splitting section, the colors will alternate. Okay, so easier for management as well. Right. So to merge, right click, merge section. Okay. Keyboard shortcut, alternate M for merge, alternate S for split. So alternate S will split the section, alternate M will merge the section. Okay. So for now, let's split the section. Okay, we'll leave it blank. Okay, so this next step, what we're gonna do is we're gonna fix camera shortcut. So it'll be good for reference. Instantly jump into that view for cinema, those photographers or videographers or content guys that want to look at specific angle. Okay. So what's gonna happen is just move to left. Okay. Holding alternate F2, you can store your camera bookmark. Right. Move to the center. Alternate F3. Alternate F4. So I've stored 3 views: F2, F3, F4. So these 3 views I can just instantly jump using my function keys. So you can actually store camera bookmarks from F2 all the way to F11, because F12 is the default bookmark, right? Okay, and then F1 will be your shortcuts and tooltip. So shortcuts over here, you can actually see like quit or toggle GUI, or this jump backward forward. Okay, all these I'll try to go through as much as possible, but if you forget, you can actually come back here to have a look, right? So pressing F1 again, you will close the shortcut menu, right? So once you have this camera bookmark, okay, it's annoying that I am not sure what am I looking at, even though I jump to this right view. Okay, fret not. You're gonna go on stage. We're gonna give it a name. So right click on stage, camera. Under camera bookmark list, you can see the positions are different. This is the default position by the software itself. So what I can do is I can rename it left, center, right. Okay, so once I close this, you can see when I press F1, sorry, F2, F3, F4. So you can see center, left, and right. Okay, easy. Okay, so next I'm gonna show you guys we can actually pipe content to different layers. I mean to some effect layers. Okay, let's let me bring up. So this is actually new. You can actually have a test. This is a test pattern layer by these guys. So let me change it to surface 1 direct. Okay, so this test pattern is actually very useful. It'll show you the resolution of your surface, and then creating grids and for line up. Okay, so your surface name is always there. Okay, so I can change the name. So right click. If I go surface 1, I can say projection. So you can see it's update immediately. Same goes for the resolution. If my resolution is different, you will same change. Rather this is helpful, then you don't need to go to like websites to generate test patterns, but of course you can do them. So just sharing that this is a new feature that's included in the new version. Okay, right. So over here you can see I can actually toggle circle, yes, no, change the circle radius, adding more circle. Okay, so basically I can click and then just scroll on the parameters. Is there label? Yes, no. Right, then lines, turn on or turn off the line. Okay, so you can actually play with this grid spacing. Okay, 220 or, and then the subgrid. If you don't want, you can just put 0. Okay. So you can actually change it up to different settings if you want. Okay. So let me just put it as this. Right. Okay. Next, let me create another layer called scroll. So this scroll layer, you can actually this is actually an effect layer. Okay, so just to demonstrate piping content into layers. So you can see the source texture is actually arrow input. Otherwise, if you want to put a texture in, go ahead, you can just put on it. Okay, or you just select arrow input. So what does arrow input means? It means that you'll be waiting for any layer below it to be inputting into the scroll layer, and then it will be sent out. So to input this test pattern inside here, just gonna hold alternate, drag, and then target. This is interesting. Okay, maybe not the test pattern. Let me create another video layer. So I'm just gonna put this test this video. Okay, so right now my video is actually above this scroll, so I can just touch on the hierarchy. So as long as your video layer is on top, it's always the highest priority. Okay, so again, I'm gonna move this layer down. You can do a right click, move down. Okay. Right now there's no difference because the scroll is empty. So same thing, I'm gonna pipe in. So holding alternate, and you can see the content starts scrolling. Okay. I think there might be some flashing because of the streaming, but yeah, it shouldn't have any effect. Okay. So what I can do on scroll is I can reduce the speed. Okay, I can scroll to add a border. Okay, so yeah, let me change another content. This is annoying. Yeah, so scroll is actually an effect layer where you can pipe in stuff to it. Right. Okay, so let me show you about hierarchy. So for hierarchy, let me add a new layer. I'll add a video layer again. So right now you can see the video layer is actually at the top. What I'm going to do is add another content. Okay, so easily you can see this will actually will cover the back, which is this test pattern video. Okay, because this layer is actually on top, so this has a higher priority versus the test pattern layer below. So what you're gonna do is you can manage them around, so you can actually bring them down, move down. So you can see right now the test pattern is actually on top. Okay. Reason being why I move one down and then the scroll is on top and the video is still playing, because end of the day the scroll is taking input from this test pattern video. Okay. That's why this has higher priority over this. Okay. So yeah, this is just to show the hierarchy. I'm gonna delete away. Right. So yeah, I'm gonna name this as I'm gonna add a note, say piping, because we have an arrow targeted into this scroll. Okay. So another fun way of piping is I can create color layer. So, R. Okay, so I'm gonna duplicate another one. Maybe name this red, green. Okay, so green, this one go to 0, 1, and then duplicate blue. So blue. Okay, so right now I have 3 layers, but then only red is showing. So I can actually compose them and make the rainbow. So right click, I can create this compose layer. Okay, so same thing, compose, you can see this is another effect layer which you can actually target source in. So I'm gonna target red, green and blue inside compose. Alternate, right? So you can see 3 colors is being composed, but I have a 4th source. So the 4th one I don't want, I can just bring it down to 0. So I can actually put this horizontal shift, if not 0, rotation speed. Okay, then increase my blend borders. So easily I create the rainbow effect. Okay, so by doing this I can test my LED screen, which is actually pretty useful. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna name this as piping 2. Then I'm gonna split this section. So okay, so right now you can see I have multiple layers, which is gonna chuck up my screen. Okay, so as I have more layers, the timeline will be going higher and higher and will be covering my screen. Okay, so what I can do is I can group them together, okay, by holding shift and left click drag. Okay, so once selected, uh, you can see the arrows on the left and right. So do a right click, you can see multiple layers option, you can group it together. So I can just name it rainbow. Of course, you can change the name later on. Okay, not an issue. So everything is collapsed into this one single group. Of course, I can expand out and then change stuff. Okay, uh, yeah. So, and of course, the scaling of the layer, we try to do it from the right side, which is the ending, rather than the front, because this will affect the keyframe that we're going to cover later on. Okay, so I can close and collapse this, and then you can see my timeline becomes shorter. So in the event that if your timeline is like that, but you have multiple layer, you know that you have multiple layer, okay, just go up to the top of the timeline and then just stretch it out. Sometimes it might be minimized accidentally or something. Okay, right. So I always make it a habit to do a split section after every content I've placed in. Of course, it depends on how your content flows. But right now we are going to do single, so I'm just gonna split the section at the end. Okay, right. So yeah, if I come to this widget, I'm not gonna move anything. I can just close it by pressing the bottom right, and then it's closed. Okay. Uh, then next thing is timeline. If you see right now, I'm moving at 1 second, 1 second. Okay, but what if my clip is actually very large? Okay, I can actually zoom out. Okay, using the magnifying glass, zoom in. So all the way in, you will see frames. So I prefer working in 1 second, which is much easier. Okay, otherwise you can hold alternate and drag and scroll. So alternate and scroll will actually zoom in and zoom out of the timeline. Okay. Yeah, I think everyone is getting bored listening to such a boring speech. Right, so yeah, let's do some keyframes next. Okay, same thing, I create a layer, use a video. Okay, so I'm gonna do let's do street. Right, so keyframe, rename it street. Okay, seems like nobody have questions, so I'm just gonna continue and continue. Anyway, this will be recorded, so you guys can actually look back later on. Alright, so I have this street video on. Okay, right now my layer is super long, but I myself, I know this is a looping clip, so this clip is actually not that long. Okay, there's two ways to I can check this clips runtime. Okay, not by here. Okay, over at video, you can do a right click. So over here you can see all the number of frames, what resolution your content is being exported out as, what codec is being used, there's bits, is it alpha, the audio, the FPS, and this is a new feature they added in, the duration, finally. So this is actually very useful. Okay, right. So it's actually 10 seconds. Right. So I don't need to use the layer to like try to scale to get a perfect 10 second. Okay. What I can do is right click on a layer, fit to contents. Immediately you snap to the actual runtime of the content, which is 10 seconds. So 45, 55. Okay. But for training purpose, I'm gonna just put it to 15 seconds, easier to manage, because I know this is gonna be looping all the way. Right. So let's split this section. Back to here. Okay, so we're gonna talk about keyframes now. Yeah. So on every layer, every layer can only hold one video and be played back at a time. Of course, you can have multiple layers, and then it will be stacked on top of each other, all the videos. Okay. So over here we have three different type of keyframes. First one is new value. This is object, and then this is the content keyframe. Okay, so let me open three of them up to show you guys. Okay, so this is numeric because there's values. Okay, this is modes. Okay, modes or mapping. Okay, so for blend mode, you left click, you can see all the drop down of your blend mode. Okay, okay, so you can actually change it over here. So this is numeric, okay, which is value from 0 to 1, right? Then this is your video, okay, where you can place your video files from here. So you can actually drag and then drop. So you see, by dragging and drop into a timeline, I'm actually keyframing stuff. Okay. To remove, just do a right click. Right. And always to make sure that I'm always at the beginning of my layer before I do anything. Otherwise, for example, if I remove this, I'm in the middle of my layer. I'm gonna put in my video. So if I jump to the start of my layer, okay, right now it's smart to know that there's a layer inside here. Okay. So yeah, so in the event that, let's say I have this, then if I want to change stuff, I go to here. So which means I'm actually adding a keyframe inside. So if you really want to change and edit your stuff, always go to the beginning. Or unless if you know where it's supposed to change, then go to the appropriate location. Right? So right click to remove that from the keyframe. So I'm gonna change back to the streets. Where is my streets? Okay. So if you open up the rest, you can actually see the color shift, like keying stuff, and also your sizing. So you can actually keyframe all these sizes. So right. So okay, your intensity is 0 to 1. But if you don't like, we can actually change this. Right click, project settings. There's a display brightness as normalized, which means right now it's 0 to 1. Okay. But if I change this, you can change to percentage, so you can see 100%, okay, or 8-bit, so 0 to 255. Okay. Same goes for volume. You can change to percentage. So over here you can see the percentage of volume, 100%, or you can change to 255. Okay, I'll use percentage for volume. Then display color value. So can do percentage. Let me see if this, where does the color go to? So over here you see the key color. Okay. Normalize is 0 to 1 or 0. Okay, so or 0 to 255. So yeah, up to your preference. You can choose. You can actually change the unit display over here easily, right? Okay. So right now we're gonna do a little bit of keyframing to illustrate the keyframe. Simply create a new layer, color. Let's say RGB color. Okay. So this is. So, I just do red. So on the numeric, you already see this block over here. Okay. And then right now the blend mode is alpha, but then this doesn't have any alpha. Okay. So let me do red max. Okay. What I can do is on my intensity, I can just drop it down. Okay. So this layer will be at 0. Then to keyframe, I can just left click again. Then to do this every block. Okay. So to do this for the whole stretch of 10 seconds or 15 seconds is gonna take a lot of time. So what I can do is I hold shift, select. Okay, so you select this keyframe. I can right click them, can repeat to the end of section or to end of layer. As you can see, end of section, I split the section over here. Okay, but my layer is actually very long, up to 1 minute 45 seconds. So this is the difference between repeat end of section to end of layer. So end of section is boop, you stop here, which is the place where you split the section. Okay. Then you right click again, you can see I can copy and cut keyframes or delete keyframes before after. So I can change this to different type, like linear, select, so it's 0 up now, 0 1 0, or a curve. Okay. Not only that, I can have a different curve inside one keyframe. So I can select, click, let's say I do a linear. So you can see it's 3 different type of curves inside one keyframe. Okay. You can do the same for any numeric keyframe. So let's say in the middle, I'm going to change my blending mode. Okay, so I can actually do alpha, or okay, let's do here, we add, multiply. Yeah. Okay, so maybe I change the color. Right, so bring up my green. Okay, then my blue. Okay, so going down. Okay, so once done, go to the start, let's play. So you can see the keyframes being changed. Right, so this is play. Okay, so right now we have this play, we have different play heads, play commands on the timeline. So play is play all the way to the end of your timeline. Okay, this play with a dot, this is playing to the end of section. So when it reaches the end of the section, you actually stop there, and then you'll be waiting for another cue. Okay, let me just put this up. So play to end section, you actually stop here and then continue looping because my video is actually on loop. Okay, and then the next one will be loop section. Okay, so by doing this, you actually replay the keyframes that we have done inside all the layers. Otherwise, if you stop at the end of section, you always only loop this video but not your keyframes, right? Okay, so there are shortcut keys for all this. Loop section is right shift. Okay, so by pressing the same button, it's actually stop. Okay, so spacebar is to play to end of section. Same thing, pressing the same button, it will stop. Enter is play, so it's playing all the way to the end of the timeline. Okay, press again, stop. Right. So spacebar, enter, right shift. So for these guys, we can actually change the playback mode on the fly based on your situation. So there's no restriction like, oh, you need to place a cue, then you actually react to it. You see. Okay, so let me just scale down this. Okay, so let's right click. Let me just put a note. Okay, to put a note, you can actually right click, or you can do Control N. So this will be keyframe. Okay. Okay, so right now you play, press space. Okay, so there's this left and right next or previous thing. Basically, it's jumping between section. Alright. You can use the left and right keys beside M. There's a dot, full stop or comma, so you can actually jump between section. Right. So this is actually helpful if you want to jump to the beginning of the section. So it's actually good for keyframing. Okay. Uh, yeah. So you guys might be thinking, hey, why jump? Can I do a crossfade? Because right now it's just snapping, which is not very nice. Right. So in this guys, there's a global crossfade. Right click under project settings. All the way down, there's a global crossfade duration. Okay, if I put it to 1, so you can see a shadow start to appear on your section. So which means that it's a 1 second crossfade, be it jumping between left and right, or you can jump anywhere. So but this is only active during playback. If your playback is stopped, nothing will crossfade. So let's play. So you can see the crossfade. Okay, so jump, jump, jump. Okay. So not only this, you can crossfade between tracks, right? But I'll show you guys later on. Okay, let's stop. A few more things to cover before we head for lunch. Right, so on your street, open up this. Okay, so you can see there's this mode and endpoint. Okay, so let me just mute this layer first. You can actually right click and mute layer. Okay, so I'm gonna show you the playback modes. Okay, by default it's always looping. So at endpoint you actually loop the video again and again until you jump out of it. Okay, so this is always the default setting. What happens if you want your content to be paused at the last frame? So select this. Same thing, this is a keyframe. Left click, put it to pause. Alright, so as you play back, and then at the last frame, you pause. because your video ends at 10 seconds, so the extra will be always freeze to the last frame. Okay, so make sure all these settings are correct. Okay, if you want to do loop, you can, or the mode there's normal and lock. Okay, what does lock means? So when I'm playing back, okay, once I click on the timeline, it's actually crossfading because it's gonna be locking to my playhead. Okay, so wherever my playhead is, this video will be locked to it. Okay, so so what's the difference between normal? Normal, which means when I play, it doesn't jump. Okay, so you ignore the playhead and you just listen to the endpoint settings. Okay, wherever you are, it doesn't matter, you just keep playing until it doesn't see the layer and then you stop. Alright, so a good way to play lock is, imagine you have a presentation like the client rendered everything is one video and then say, oh, I want to stop here, and then I'll give you a cue to continue. So what you can do is just over here split a frame, split a section. Yeah, of course you give it a label, but I'm just gonna leave it because I'm lazy. I'm playing. So at the end of the section, it's actually creating a pause point. Okay. Then what you can do is you can actually press the next section key to continue, or uh, if you don't want that because there's a crossfade, what you can do is you can just press enter. So you continue from where you actually left off on the pause, on the section pause there. Okay. Or if you want to make sure that there's no crossfading, you can right click on it. So under crossfade, but if it's undefined, it means that it will follow the global crossfade. Otherwise, if you don't want, just go to fade 0, so 0 second. Okay, so by doing this, you can custom different section have to have different crossfade timing. So right now it's 0, I can actually do it to maybe 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So depending on how your section is built or how your content is gonna flow. Okay, I'm gonna remove this section. Right. So yeah, just bear with me a little more, and then we'll head for lunch. Okay, so on track, you right click on track. You can actually change the name, track 1 or track 2. Then this is the total length. Go ahead and change it if your content it's much longer than 10 minutes. Feel free to change it. Okay, and the rest yeah, nothing much. Okay, so most important is the total length, because right now we are fixed at 9 minutes 20 seconds, which is not enough for definitely a show. Right. So you actually notice just now at the crossfade there's a track section. Okay, right now we are gonna do a track section. Okay, so we can actually do a custom transition rather than just black and white. Okay, so how are we gonna do it? Do it on track. Let's create a new track for transition. So this will be empty. Okay, I'm just gonna use whatever texture I have inside to create this, because you can actually import like a MOV file from transparent to white. So that's how we're gonna show the transition. So I'm gonna create a bitmap. Okay. Yeah, so BBS it is. So see, I'm gonna just use this circle mask transparent. Okay. So what happens is this will be a 1 second transition. Okay, right now it's too small, I can't see. Zoom in. So for 1 second, I'm gonna do this on the move. My size, I'm gonna put it to 0. Okay, so at the end of 1 second, I'm gonna push it up. yeah, just to fill up the screen, right? So for this, I'll name it as circle in. Okay, I'm gonna split a section. I'll name it as circle out because the transition is always circle in or circle out. You always have a in and out for transition. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna do is just duplicate this. You can duplicate simply by selecting it, Control D, right? And of course, if you want to change the name, go ahead, change the name. Okay, so right now we're gonna do the opposite way. Okay, it'll be a full circle. What's the last value? So we can copy, Control C, Escape to close our window, and Control V. I'm gonna paste it here. Then of course this will go to 0, right? So you can see it's filled up. Okay. So I'm gonna split the section. I'm gonna do just one more for the sake of showing. So I'm gonna do center in. Just gonna do a node center. So yep. Okay, let's go back. Right. So we have covered sections, the transition, and then composing and piping, and then grouping as well. Okay, so next we're gonna build our stage. Okay, right now it's kind of boring, it's only LED screens. So let's build it. So right click on stage. So right click on stage, then we'll head to the venue. So by default there's already a venue one, so I think there's something wrong with the prop. Yeah. Okay, so there's actually some stock 3D models in the software. Okay, so like let's say for arena, it's actually a life-size arena, so you can actually zoom out and then have a look at it. Okay, so next let's add a rig. Okay, so same thing, you see this parameters window popping up. So what happens is it's empty because there's nothing, but of course of the name over here. So what we're gonna do is on the mesh, define my rig. Yep, there you go, my rig over here. Right. Let's see what else I have. Maybe a stage floor. Okay. So next I'm gonna get a stage floor. Right. So another empty mesh. Go to stage floor. Yeah. There you go. You got your stage floor and the rig up. Okay. So now it looks like the floor is very small. It's not covering up. Okay. What I can do is expand this 30 meters by 100 meters. Okay. So at least it fills up the space. Right. And what you're gonna do now is let's add a drummer. Okay, then on my mesh I add a drummer. Okay, so the model actually spawned in the middle because the exporter origin 00, it's 00 in the 3D model software, 3D modeling software, as well as once it's exported out. So these guys will actually take the information of exporter origin of the 3D model, use it over here the same way, right? So right now the drummer is actually on the ground. We're gonna move it up. Same thing, I can bring up my manipulators, which is this fella here. Click on it, drag it up, and then push it backwards. Right, there you go. Then he's on the stand. Okay, so right. So from here you can see he's actually floating. Okay, because we don't know the exact height of this stage. What we can do is we'll hold alternate and then drag the corner of the stage down. So from here you can see there's actually a measurement. So this measurement is actually quick and easy, so you can actually determine the height, I mean the distance between point A to point B easily. So my stage is 1.524 meters high, so my drummer will be offsetted 1.524. Yeah. And so this guy will be the main lead. Let me just put in maybe 8.5 meters. Yeah. Okay, so we are done with setting this guy. Maybe I add a singer as well. Appearance, singer, same thing, 1.524, the height, and then I'm gonna shift it backwards. Okay, so at least it's standing up there. I can put a guitarist as well. So guitarist, let's go up 1.524. Oops, crazy. So guitarist, yeah. So let me just move this backwards. So you guys just get a hang of this, more of like making your scene look nicer. That's about it. Right, so next, if you actually look at the appearance, you can actually change the color of the guitarist, okay, if it's needed. Otherwise, you can just leave it as its flat color. Then if you have if you UV map this prop itself, you can actually add a texture in. Alright, so once you texture this guy, then you actually look like a real person inside the stage. Okay, so I got my props ready, everything, and then right now my screen is actually not correct because it's in front of the stage. I want to push it backwards. Okay, same thing. What I can do is just drag this manipulator, select the screen, manipulate it, go up. Okay, then I like to set a definite number. So 5 meters upwards, 13 meters backwards. Right. So then I have to move the left and right screen also. But this is actually taking a lot of time by moving one by one. Right. What I can do is I parent these two screens to the main screen. Okay. By doing this, it's just a hierarchy thing. Just go down to hierarchy, add child, then I'll add in left and right. Okay, so the origin of the LED screen becomes we'll be taking the 000 coordinates of the projection screen. Okay, meaning if I put this to 0, it will be 0 level with the projection screen, because previously all objects that you place in disguise, you'll take the origin reference point from the stage, which is 0 in the middle. Okay, so same thing, my right screen, I offset the height to 0. So right now if I move my projection screen, you can see 3 of these will move together. Okay, oh. Okay, so we have made this screen itself, which is nice. Okay, so next step, uh, I would like to add a DMX pixel mapping as well. So imagine I added a big power cans. So what I can do is add a DMX screen, right? I'll put a stitch left, uh, stitch left, right, maybe pixels. Okay, so it's on the floor. I'm just gonna bring it up. So to control lighting, it's actually auto assign the DMX addresses on the screen itself. Okay, because right now it's 4 by 4. But I'm gonna just do 2 by it's a 1 meter by 5 meter screen. Okay, I'm gonna parent this to the projection screen. So I'm gonna offset it. Let's bring this to 8 meters. At least there's some space to put the lights in between. Okay, so 5 meters on the left. Okay. So right now the lights actually looks very ugly. Maybe I increase to 10 pixels. Okay, so my appearance, I add in a pixel mask. So to simulate that this is actually RGB lighting. Okay. Then of course on your LED pixel you can actually set a channel and universe it starts, and then you actually automatically update. So you can see on the pixel it will change when I update this. Okay, then of course I can change my fixture type. There's RGB, monochrome, all this inside. Okay, so make sure you match this fixture type to your LED pixels. Right, so right now I have done left, and now I'm gonna do right pixels. So we'll just duplicate and 5. Okay, and also I have 2 LED pixels left and right. Excuse me. Okay, so you can add more things and add a lot more things to your scene. That's up to you, but my preference is during a show I'll remove all the venue, because all this actually takes up render rendering power from the software. Okay, and also take note, every mesh make sure it's less than 200,000 triangles. So simply right clicking on the mesh, you can see how many triangles you have, the mesh have. Okay, so the optimal performance is 200,000 triangles per mesh. That's the best, right? Okay, so yeah, so to easily hide the stage, you can right click on the empty space. This will actually show up your GUI camera. So what happens is you can actually drag here to move around, or on the stage as well. Okay, so under appearance, over you can uncheck like measurements. You want to see your beam or what, projector beams, the labels, surface label, LED labels. All your labeling can be toggled on and off over here. Okay, so easily toggle off the venue, and then your performance will actually increase during showtime. Okay, but for now I'm just gonna show you guys the venue with the whole setup. Right, so okay, so now we're going to talk about mapping, because just now we're just throwing contents out and then showing you guys the transition, okay, layering and building a stage. And now we'll talk about mapping, because mapping, this is where we're going to tell the content to apply onto different surfaces, how and when to do what. Okay, okay, so let's start off with this very simple one. Same thing, create a video layer. Then I'm going to select my mapping. So by default, every screens you create in the scene, in your venue, will come out as a direct mapping by itself. Okay. So I'm going to just choose a projection direct. This so by default it's a direct mapping. Okay, what does direct mapping means is whatever you throw in, you try to fit and scale the content into the screens. Okay, so whenever I change left, right, see all the pixel, you try to scale into the screen. Okay, so technically speaking, if you are using, let's say you have a duplicated content into two screens, the traditional way is having two layers to put them out into two screens or maybe three screens. So every layer is targeting to one screen by itself. Okay, but these guys works differently. So I can create a new mapping to target all screens. So I put all direct. This is just a naming by itself. You can change the naming to whatever you guys prefer, as long as you can understand what the mapping, what this mapping does. Okay, so all direct mapping. Then I'll my projection surface, left and right screen. So I always make it a habit to edit the screens first, because if I don't have the screens, it doesn't know where it's supposed to go to. Okay, so and left, right. Okay, so you can see one content being distributed throughout all the screens by just using one layer instead of having three layers to target to all three screens. Of course, whatever things you change over here, okay, you affect all three screens, because it's already know that this layer with the content inside is going to be applied to these three screens, right? So okay, so whatever you do here, like move or you crop, it will be applied to all these three screens. Okay, so that's it for direct mapping. So I'm gonna label it direct mapping. Good. And also change the name to direct. Right, simple, straightforward. Direct mapping is just whatever content you want to throw at the exact resolution, just throw it up to the screen. Okay. Don't treat like a copy and paste, and yeah, it just squeeze whatever it can squeeze into that one single canvas. Okay, next, same thing. I'm gonna create another layer. So video layer, but this time I'm gonna select a clip first. So I'm gonna use this training template pick 3000 by 1200. Okay, so you can see direct mapping actually just try to fit whatever it can into whichever screen is being selected. Okay, so but right now for this we're gonna use feed mapping. So let me just add a new feed, or feed, so all feed. Okay, so same thing. This window will pop up, but all feed mapping will have an additional window, which is here to show you your canvas. So always, before we move on, edit the screens first. So the projection. Okay, so once you can scroll to zoom in and zoom out. Okay, we try to make the screens as similar to what you see on stage. Okay, so my LED left, projection, LED right. Okay, and then the resolution. So resolution is obviously too small, because our actual resolution size is 3000 by 1200, right? If your content didn't label, you can always right click and then look at the resolution. Okay, so to open up the mapping again, we'll right click, so change my resolution to 3200. by 1200. Okay, so now we have the full size content over here. Okay, so see the 20 feet map. Okay, I can preview my full content over here. Right. So next step, uh, the top is your content canvas. The bottom will be where you're gonna output your content to, which is the screen. So to kick off, right click on the screen you want to add to, add fit rectangle. So immediately this full resolution of the screen will appear at the top. So this part is where you're going to sample the content, okay, and then it will be placed here. Okay, so the resolution, let's see, so I can actually move here or here, and then you can see it's updating on the output, which is corresponding to this view. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now is this will be here. Okay, anyways, so what happens is we can actually scale to fit here. Okay. So you actually scale and fit into this projection screen. So same goes for the left and right. Left, I can right click at a fit rectangle. Okay, and stretch it out. Okay. Instead of creating one here, what I can do is just right click, duplicate, and I can shift them to the right. Okay, so you can see already left. Okay, we are not done yet because the sampling is still on LED left, but the output is going to LED right. So this is actually wrong. So right now we're gonna move sampling downwards. So left click, you can bring it down. So you'll notice that there's a snap. Okay, this doesn't really need to snap, so you can actually move like that. Okay, if you want to go more precise, you can actually zoom in and then left click the corners you want to resize and move it with your arrow keys. Okay. So this will be more precise. Okay, same thing for movement. You can click the middle one, move left and right to get the pixels in. Okay, and the bottom. There we go. Or if like this, there's actually an origin. You can actually key in the number 100 by 100. Okay. So the top is the coordinates from X and Y. Okay. Then you can change the resolution directly from here, 920 1080. Okay. I think there's something wrong with this content, but it's more of like the concept. Okay, so but for this practice, I'm just gonna scale up and fit this fellow. Right. So once done for fit in one single canvas, in this one single canvas, you can actually distribute to this screen. If you are using direct, you are unable to do this because it just fits whatever goes in and just throw it out. Right? Okay, let's go back. There's still a lot more things the feed mapping can do. So what I can do is I can actually chop the content. Okay, then so you see this lock here is actually unlocked, which means I can actually scale my sampling and then shift it around. Okay, or if I lock it, which means it'll be corresponding, you'll take the same size as the sampling area. So if I move up here, see if I scale up, so this one will unlock because it's oversized, so I can scale it down again. Right, it's going to scale it left. Okay, so now in there you can rotate. So it's pretty good if you have if you are dealing with LED screens, because LED screens maybe some portion it's inverted in the LED processor. You might not want to spend time go and reprogram the LED panel. You can actually come here to chop and then rotate it as and when. So chop horizontally, vertically. Okay, so you can actually rotate. Yeah, but I'm gonna just pivot everything back to normal. So select, delete. I'm gonna add in again. Okay, so that's for feed mapping. So feed mapping you can have so for all the mapping type you can have multiple mapping, because not every single content you want it to be applied to all three screens. Okay, so you can have different mappings to like target maybe left and right, then to sample from this content. Okay, so but for this feed, if you are configured as this, if I'm gonna throw out other content, you can see it's different. Okay, usually with this kind of setup means your content is already being rendered in this state itself, which is the image here. Okay, so people will actually put LED1, LED2, LED3, etc, etc, etc. Okay, so you can add as many screens as possible as you want, but yeah, so just matter of how you're gonna sample the content from the top and then apply it to your output. Okay, so I'm gonna name this as feed mapping. Same thing, I'm gonna change this to feed. Split a section. Okay. So I'm gonna create a new video again. So right now I'm gonna create a parallel mapping. Okay, select parallel. Same thing, and in my screens, left, right, projection. Okay. To open up parallel, you can see there's a transparent box over here. Okay. Right now without any content it's very difficult to see, and then right here is inactive. So what I'm gonna do is add in a content. I'm gonna use this different mapping. So for using feed map and parallel mapping, make sure to use the full resolution. For direct, just use the largest resolution of your screen, because it will actually automatically resize to every individual screens. Okay, so my resolution for 800 by 1080. As you can see over here, when I type, it's actually scaling in aspect, so which I don't want. So I'm gonna unlock it, turn it off for 800. Hey, cool. So you see my full content is being squashed right now because my size is a 4:3 ratio. Okay. However, this content is supposed to fit these three screens from left all the way to the right. Okay. So simply I can measure from the left to the right by using the measurements. Alternate left click. Okay. So you can see from the left end to the right end it's a span of 20 meters. Okay. So my size is going to gain 20 meters. Okay. Then my height, I'll take the highest height, which is 4.5. Right. So this aspect ratio is actually to fit all these three screens at this setup. Okay. So next step, you can see the screens are red, which means there's content, but it's not being applied to the screen yet. Okay. So this I have to move this canvas to fit the screens. So over here, position, scroll up, scroll up, yep, there you go, and then you can see the content applied to the screen immediately. Okay. You can actually do this mapping with feed mapping as well. Okay, let me just show you. So we're gonna go over here, or feed 2. So this is 4800 by 0. Okay, of course I use this content. Okay, so right now I'm going to change the feed mapping. So this channel I'm going to move left, this left, this right, 1920, 100. Okay, I'm just going to roughly place it at the correct location. So you can see feed mapping and parallel mapping, we can do the same thing, but the difference between this is on my feed mapping, if I have a automation screen, we move up, I rotate, my content still fixed into the screen. However, if I have on this parallel mapping, it doesn't fit to my screen. Okay, reason being, this is a virtual canvas that is going to apply the content to whatever screen is actually behind in its location. Okay, so right now the canvas is applying directly. So if I move this upwards, you can see it's out of the zone that is going to red, and then boop, there's no more content coming in. Okay, so this is a very useful mapping if you are considering doing a how do I put it, automation or tracking. Okay, to show you more clearly, even more clearly, if you put this orbiting galaxy, let me just pick the section and name it first. So PA. Okay, so on the feed mapping, I'm going to use the same content as well. So you can see it's playing back. Okay, this actually calculates the distance between the screens and then apply into the content. So if I move closer, you can see it's actually connecting. Okay, if I shift up, yeah, so your lines wouldn't be like jagged, suddenly a line out here and then it suddenly drop down and stuff. This will happen on feed mapping. So if I move in, you can see the line doesn't align. Okay, so this two mapping has its own pros and cons in different way. Yeah. Okay. So feed mapping, I'll say, is more recommended or preferred when you are using one single canvas, mostly dealing with LED screens. So you have multiple grid and stuff. You can actually place them easily, quickly. Yeah. So for parallel mapping, is to map all these kind of things. Oh, and the best part of parallel mapping is, remember the lights we put in? We can actually add them into a parallel mapping as well. So okay, then I'm going to just expand this a little bit. Sorry. 5, 5. Okay, so immediately my content will be applied to the LED pixels. Okay, so this will actually you can use this as a creating ambient lights or something together flow with your content. Right, let me change another content, which is this glowing circle. So let's see. This is actually very useful in dealing with pixel strips and stuff. You want to make everything into one single canvas because you're gonna use feed mapping to it. It's gonna be a pain in the ass because there's only so little pixels, and then you can't actually see. You see, the pixels are so small. How sure are you know where to fit all these pixels in? Okay. With parallel mapping, as long as you get your pixels to the correct dimension, everything will actually looks very good in the whole show. Right? Okay, so we're just going through what else if I missed. Yeah. Okay. So as you can see, yeah. So I think the mapping it's clear. If it's not clear, just drop a message on the live chat, and then I'll reply to you guys. Okay, so let's move on. So we have actually created a lot of like all the piping and stuff. Okay, so let me go back to transition. So I'm gonna change all of this to uh, all direct. So all of this will have the same effect. Now right. So simply by doing this, yeah. So I can apply different effects to here. Okay, yeah, so we have a few cues. So we can actually bring out our cue list by holding Control G. Then we can use this during our show. So you see, you can click, it jumps. So for this, I wouldn't want the transition to be in because this is not supposed to be my inside my show. Although I need a transition effect, but I don't want it to be appearing here. What I can do is go to setlist configuration. Under my setlist, I create a new setlist called show. Right, so over here, I just add in the tracks that I want to see. Okay. So under all, track 1. So I'll be only looking at track 1. However, the transition track still exists behind the software in another timeline. So it will still look as good as it's supposed to be. Okay, so this queue is actually very very useful for your shows. Okay, so what's the time now? Time now is 2:30. Okay, so let us do a camera fly through. Okay, so First, let's create a layer. The layer will be animate camera preset. Right. So I'm gonna scale this further down to maybe it's 15 seconds, maybe 30 seconds. Okay. So we're gonna time keyframe this camera preset. Remember earlier we created 3 cameras location. Yep. So right now we're gonna use them. So position. Let's do position left. Okay. So you reset, and then with this pivot and FOV, all this stuff, you can actually manually move all this to your liking, but I prefer using the visualizer, which is much faster. So jump to my bookmark, copy from visualizer. Okay, then I'll move to my 10 seconds, recenter. Same thing, go to my bookmark, copy from visualizer, and if I go to the end, do right. Okay, same thing, copy from visualizer. Okay, so right, if I jump to the beginning, once I hit play, you actually simulate this fly through, which you can actually previs your stuff. Okay, not only that, how to get this video out. Okay, go to your D3 setting at the top left, project settings, movie output. Okay, so my stage movie output, I'm gonna put HD. You want to put 4K, also can, not an issue. This could be done even you are using a designer license, a trial version, or in the actual machine. Okay, so the software is all the same throughout the ranges of machines and hardware. Okay, the only difference is the hardware capacity and then the output. That's it. Okay, otherwise the rest is the same. So we're gonna export this 30 seconds clip. Go to the beginning of the place part where you want to export, and then hold shift and drag to select. Okay, so once done, you can see the timeline is highlighted. Right click, right stage movie. You can change the name, training day 1. Hit OK, and then this guys will run the timeline. While it's running, it's actually rendering out into output. Okay, so that's done. Once the playback stops, it's actually done. Okay, before we head out to check where is it being stored, I can capture some screenshot by holding alternate X, X-Men, X, alternate X. You create a screenshot. Okay, so this will be on the output directory. So if alternate tab out to my D3 manager, under my training day 1 show folder, open project folder. Under screenshots, you can see the screenshot of the view you have captured. Okay, you captured every single thing. Right. The output, where you can get your video, stage, training day 1. So this video clip you can actually share with anyone that wants to see how its final look is, especially to client, because then always want to see what's the final look like. How does it look? How about if I put this, if I change this, especially the content, client can actually see something before the actual show begins. Okay, right. Okay, so that's about for the camera preset. Same thing, any questions, just dump it on the live chat. I'll get back to you guys. Yeah, so next, I'm going to show you some effects that you can actually use to test your calibration if needed. So Control L. Okay. You guys have seen a test pattern. So the other one is radar. So this radar is actually pretty good to test, let's say your LED alignment, your blending. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't have two projectors here. Otherwise, tomorrow I can show you guys. But yeah, by sending white and scan across the area, you can actually see the blend area, whether is it done properly or not, as well as the alignment. So this is actually very good for LED walls, because you can actually see whether on your actual setup is it misaligned or is it fixed nicely. Okay, so so if you open up default the palette, you can right click and change it to maybe different colors to test. Okay, so I'm gonna the fun thing I like to do is I can add a kaleidoscope. So this is the effect layer. So I can pipe in my source. Okay, so you can play around with all these effects. Right. Rotation speed. Maybe increase the speed of my content. Yeah, looks okay. Then I can actually apply to parallel. So you can see it's there are some actually effects there inside where you can actually play around and then create like different effects. Okay, so like you are using a LUT. Let me create a LUT. So LUT, same thing. I'm just gonna go direct to the projection surface, and then my source I'm gonna pipe in. Okay, then of course I have all my LUT here. It's not working. No, let me try something else. I think there's something wrong with this, but I'm gonna check back with these guys to see what's the issue. See my mapping. Mapping is correct. So there's actually some changes. yeah, so you can actually see there's a desaturation. Okay. So in the event that right now is 0 to 1, but we can actually extend it to like increase to maybe 50. Okay. So when you push up, yeah, so you can actually do for extend the maximum for all of the parameters you can see as long as it's numeric. uh Mostly on those like all this intensity stuff, but not for the master intensity. It's always maximum at 1. Okay, right. So yeah, let me remove the LUT. Okay, another thing you guys can do is play around with the MIDI controller. Okay, so I can add a new device, so PCF 2000. And so this is actually a pre-made device inside this guys, where you can actually open up the virtual one and then use it for show. So open up, I can control click to sticky it, so when I press escape it doesn't disappear, right? Then so all these fader I can actually tie it to a parameters to control uh, control it from 0 to 100. So let's say or this video, open up the layer, I can target this fader into this intensity. So hold alternate and drag. Okay, so you see, you can bring down and bring up. Okay. So this can be actually used during live show as well. Yeah, in the event if you don't have a MIDI controller in your possession, you can actually use this. Okay, so let's say if you have a BCF 2000, you can right click under edit, then from here you set where's your IO. Okay, then once done, you just need to train your controller. Once you right click on the uh, button, click train, and then just spin it or push up or press the button on your MIDI controller, it will be recorded over here. So as you move your actual fader, this will actually move out as well. Okay, so to remove it from the parameter, right click under expression, select clear. That's it. Okay, seems like we have come to the end of the day 1 session, right? Yeah, I'm going pretty fast because I don't really need to stop for anyone. Yeah, but you guys can replay this video again and then see what you want to watch and where you are missing out. So yeah, uh, yeah. So right now I think I'm open to questions before I end this stream. Okay. Okay, guys. Just shoot me any questions. I'll try to respond to you guys. Since I think that's the end of day 1. Tomorrow we will do more on projection mapping, and then I'll show you guys like uh, heat map readings, some luck simulation, and as well as I'll show you how to do warping on one single projector. Yeah, that's the only equipment I have at home right now. Okay, so yeah, I'm be around to answer your questions for maybe until 3:30. Yep. Yeah, just let me know anything you want to see like or repeat for today, then I'll help you guys do it. Okay, since we have some time, let me show you a time code. Okay, so time code under transport, do a right click. Okay, so this transport manager actually allows you to connect external device for trigger, such as a MIDI or OSC stuff. Then, of course, here is to monitor your timecode input. Okay, so on timecode, just bring it down. Okay, new timecode transport. So in the event that you are receiving external timecode, let's do LTC then. LTC. Okay, so these are the timecode stuff available inside this guys. Okay, so usually we use timecode transport LTC lah. Okay, so this is LTC in. Once you select, of course, you select your line in, left or right. You can actually select it when you're connected to the machine. Okay, so on right click, you should be able to see like you see, there's actually beats going on. You see, yeah. So of course, right now there's no LTC timecode in, so no values will be jumping around on this time. Okay, you can actually increase the gain if it's not noisy, like if it's not loud enough. Okay, but default is always 1. Right, then we can offset the sync frame, and this should auto change when it detects the time code in. Otherwise you can just change it accordingly to your uh, desired time code. Okay. And from here time code can change track, yes, no, which this means that this is corresponding to your set list, or in fact it's just this timeline itself. So if it's trigger ring on other timing, it wouldn't jump, you just only remain on this timeline. Okay, so let me close this. Okay, so for instance we don't have any LTC, but we can do a LTC tester. So LTC tester, so we can use system time if you are using like fixed installation. So daily this thing will be triggered, I mean this section will be triggered or what, you can use a system time. So you listen to your desktop timing, and then you place your time code on the section you want it to run, and then it will just start to run okay, when it reach the time. So but for now this instance we're going to do sorry, system time, no, this is the wrong one. Tester, you do time code tester. Okay. So right now my time is 30 fps. Okay, so I can check my time code. So let's say I put it to 9 minutes, set. So I'm expecting a 9 minutes time code in. from my LTC source. Okay. However, my timecode is not tagged to any of the section yet. So right now I'm gonna tag my timecode to a section. So let's take a tree mapping. Do a right click. So over tag type, I've got TC, MIDI, or Q. Okay. So TC is timecode. I'm gonna put a tag 00.00. Sorry, .09.00.00. Once I hit enter, you can see the timecode becomes 9 minutes. Okay, and what happened on your timeline is you can see it actually begins at 00. Okay, and then 1 second, and then now it suddenly becomes 9 minutes. So these guys can actually manipulate your timeline just by adding timecode, and then you start the section from 9 onwards. So I can actually put this section to maybe uh 20 minutes. So 0 0 20 0 0 0 0. So yeah, so you can see the timeline starts from 9 minutes and then it ends here. Then this will wait for another trigger. Okay, so by adding timecode, it doesn't mean that all your layers will be shifted to that exact timing on that timeline. These guys will actually override the existing timing and put your layers on it. Okay. Right. So let's test this timecode. Okay. So let's say let me just put one maybe 8 minutes 59. Let me reset this. Okay. So right now if I start, oops, it hit but it didn't jump. Okay. Reason being my transport is not engaged yet. Means it's ignoring every single external source that is trying to trigger the timeline. It's gonna ignore it. Okay. Until I engage them. Just click this disengage. So once it's flashing green, you can see the time code of this is set. So I'm gonna stop the time code, reset. Okay, and then I'm gonna start. You can see the preroll, and then it's chasing time code. Right. So this is how we set up time code inside this guys. Okay. So if I stop the time code, if I stop the time code, there's actually some settings could be affected. So in the event that on clock loss, it will stop or it keep playing. But usually we will just keep it as keep playing because no one wants to pause when the time code is down. Okay, then of course we change the play mode to end of section or loop section. Okay, usually I'll just put play to end of section because I know when to. It's easier for me to change if I need to. Okay, so you can reset, start. So you can see right now, after 15 seconds, it should stop at the end. So if I change to a clock loss stop right, so see, it will play to the end of section. The playhead is still playing. Okay, so if I stop this, right, because right now my clock is still alive. Technically, there's some last frame there. Clock loss, which means totally they cannot detect anything. Okay. Yep. So this is time code. So you can have multiple time codes on different track as well. Okay. So on your queue list, there's track 1. Okay, I can have another track. So right click, let me duplicate another track, track 2. So because this is duplicated, so everything I have here is the same. Okay, so but for you to actually identify which track, at the top here there is. So from here you can actually look at what track, and then this is node. You can actually double click and change the name. So I say 1 2 3 4 5 6 79. Right. So on this queue list, you can actually see your tag. So for tag, every section is one tag by itself. You can't have two different tags overlapping on each. Okay, if you want to have the single section with multiple like tags to trigger, I suggest you to move one frame away. Yeah, so one frame it's not too bad because it's just that starting point will be slightly off by one frame. It's not gonna be very obvious to everybody. Alright, so this tag you can see right now this is timecode. If I'm gonna put this as a MIDI, I want to say MIDI 12. So the 12, if I here to be Q. So for Q using a OSC or lighting console, it's gonna be 0xx.yy.zz. So it's on a 3 different integer. Okay, so I can put 1.1.1. Right, so you can see the tag is different. Okay, then at the end here, this is the remaining time of your section. So if I play, so this is counting down to end of the section. So if I jump, then it's another section. Right. Okay. So you can actually jump between different tracks. Okay. Of course, you need to set in your set list, your show or what. Okay. For me, I like to I will split the set list. In the event that there is too many segments to manage, I'll have more tracks, which is timeline. So for example, opening till lunch, I'll have one set list. So it only takes out like maybe uh, just one or two scroll down the list. I can easily access my contents, and maybe another set list for lunch to dinner. Yeah, it really all depends on how you guys want to manage your timeline. Yeah, so there's no definite answer to like, oh, you need to have all your tracks into one set list. No. Okay, so it's actually like very flexible. Definitely there's a break time where you can actually go and change your set list and jump into there. Right. Cool. Playback. Okay, so for event transport, let's say I'm using an OSC. So I select transport OSC. So I have all the input messages over here. Okay, so this should be putting into your OSC layout. Then you can actually communicate and talk back to these guys by maybe triggering queues, and then your control the transport, the playback, next section, everything. Same goes for lighting. So let's say DMX and the transport DMX. Okay, so you can actually see here for lighting console. Then we have to target which universe and channel for lighting console. Then we change the different mode. There's command and state listen. This one you guys can go online and check it out. Okay, I won't explain much on this, but mainly just to show you that lighting console can control this guy's transport as well. Okay. So you can see there's a export or show personality in DMX chart, and there's export personality for MA. I believe there's a lot of MA user in the market as well. There are also many of you listening here use MA. So you can export this and then put it into your lighting patch. Then you have a full control over the timeline, your playback, like the master intensity and master audio out. Right. So, yep. Any questions? I think I'll stop talking already because I think I've covered a little bit more than I'm supposed to. Yeah, so just gonna play. Yeah, just gonna hang around here and then see what you guys want to know from me.